Sp4zie and plenty.
Hello YouTube! Sp4zie coming right at you with another champion preview. Today we're taking a look at Aurelion Sol. He is a dragon from space, obviously. When I looked at the post that Riot did about him, I was kind of like, meh. But then when I played him on PvE, I went like, ugh. So in this video, as per usual, we'll go through the abilities and make them as clear as possible for you guys. And then at the end, I'll sort of summarize my thoughts. And hopefully this will allow you to get a little bit of a grasp of how he works. As per usual, PvE, things might change. Let's dive into it. Let us start with a passive, because it's a crucial part of his kit, and it's called Center of the Universe. It is basically the 3 stars that you see hovering around him constantly. They don't cost anything when you have it just like it is. They deal magic damage to the peeps that he hits. So this is what you're playing around constantly. This is your main damage output. Again, it's free when you don't activate it, which we'll get to in a second. It will proc spell effects like Rylai's and Ludens. It will work while you're using a Zhonya's if you decide to build that. And also important to note is that if you get stunned, silence, or something like that, it will disable them. That out of the way, let's move to the Q, and it's called Star Surge. Man, I thought this ability was boring when I read it, but it has some funness to it. You throw this out and it starts growing over time, and it grants you a little bit of movement speed as well when you press it. And then when you detonate it, either manually by pressing Q again, or when it reaches its outer limit, it will deal magic damage and stun. Now, here's the important part. The outer limit is, surrounded your champion. So if you move fast enough, this can travel potentially across the whole map and grow in size. It's pretty cool. VW is called Celestial Expansion. When you put points into this ability, it will increase the damage that your stars do, the things surrounding you, remember? And then you can toggle it on and off, which will increase the damage and also push the stars out to his outer limit again, that being the area where the Q automatically explodes. So a big part of playing this champion is going to be master how to toggle this on and off, because the stars do deal damage on their way out to the outer circle, so you can sort of like toggle it to hit people if you time it just correctly to get that extra bit of damage off. It's of course also very useful to clear minion waves and the like, but it is a little bit wonky. I've got to say, I kind of like the fact that when I played with this ability, I felt like, this is going to take a couple of games to sort of get it right. And that's a good thing. I like that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have the E, Comet of Legend. Now, it wouldn't be a new champion to League of Legends if you didn't get that crazy-ass utility, so here it is. So the best way to explain it is that this is a huge bard journey that only you can take. When you click it, you travel to that location. You can deactivate it to drop down whatever you like. Also, if you do take damage, you will fall down, so people can interrupt you. And that's all there is to it for the active part. But then there's a passive part. So when you continuously move in one direction, great band, you will start increasing your movement speed until you reach a certain cap. You can make smooth turns here, but if you make any steep curves or something like that, it will interrupt it. Also, taking damage from champions or turrets will interrupt your movement speed and set you back to your original one. A technical part of this is that this also generates something called escape velocity, and you need 100 stacks of that to actually cause the active of the E. However, I usually felt like when I needed it, it was up because I moved around, but that's how it is. Now, let's go back to the Q a little bit, because movement speed will allow you to cast the Q very early. For instance, one of the most straightforward ways to show this is you can cast your Q while going into the mid lane from base, and if you have, a pair of Mobies or Swiftness with this passive, you can follow the Q all the way up the lane and then explode a huge ass star when you enter. It's pretty sweet. And with a bit of practice, you can also make the Q follow you when you activate your E, which is going to make for some pretty cool next level ganks, where you just show up from behind a wall with a huge ass star that followed you from mid lane. Woo! Finally, the ultimate. It's called Voice of Light, and compared to the other abilities, this one is pretty straightforward and easy. It is a very long-range magic damaging ability that also slows the targets you hit. But the most important part is that if the target is standing close to you, you will also push them to the outer limit, and you should know what that is by now. That is the exact area where the stars circle around you if you have your W activated. With all this in mind, a very straightforward combo with this is that you go into melee range, you knock them back to your W range, and thanks to the slow, you land an easy Q that will allow you to proc 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of that W activated passive. Those are the abilities. So what are we looking at here? Well, I think we're looking at a Anivia to the field type of champion with a nice modern twist of extreme roamitude, which is now a word. The base movement speed is extremely slow, so you probably want to build some movement speed items, get those Swifties, get those Mobies in, and then you want to make up for that by using your E to maximum extent. In terms of items, I do think that this is going to be a tanky-ish type of mage. You're looking at, Rod of Ages, you're looking at Abyssal Scepter, you're looking at Rylai's to proc it on the stars, you're looking at Zhonya's perhaps, perhaps. And you're just gonna be in the team fights, dealing consistent damage, being a big annoyance, CCing people left, right, and center. And that is gonna be your whole late game and team fighting. But in the early game and mid game, you're gonna be like roaming just like a TF. You're gonna show up in the lane, push people around, bully them. Then you're gonna recall and use the speed of your E to get back to the mid lane really fast. I'm gonna play this mid. I do think he could work in jungle and maybe even top to some extent support as well. But I'm gonna play this mid lane. I think I'll enjoy this. If you have any questions about the abilities, drop them in the comments below. If I won't get to them, one of my fellow viewers will, and they're usually very well educated. Yeah, that's right. Gave you guys a compliment. Subscribe to my channel. I release 3 League of Legends related videos a week. You won't be disappointed. This has been Sp4zie. Love you guys, and I'm out. Do it!